Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason here at New Dimensions Crystals in Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas, right next to the radio station KTEX 106. Yeah. So today's Star Report is for May the 28th through June the 3rd, 2025, and we jump right into the sun. We are currently undergoing a coronal whole stream of plasma, which, if you recall, coronal whole streams are going to give us a contraction feeling, sometimes like a feeling of compression, a feeling of heaviness. And of course, when we are having a coronal hull stream, then those energies make the Earth more susceptible to earthquakes. So if you're around earthquake areas, pay attention to that. Maybe slight rumbles. It hasn't been as intense as it could have been, but it could be building over time. So pay attention today for that to perhaps increase as the plasma continues to impact the planet. Um, as of yet, it hasn't caused any storm level radiation in our own Earth little shell. So should not be, or shouldn't have been last night, at least any increased aurora activity in the skies. Spinach of that. There are two incoming. I guess they could also be coming rather than incoming. But anyway, they're fixing to spin Earth facing. Two solar not solar sunspots, solar spots, sunspots, and they are big but not complex, but something to watch nonetheless as they are heading this way. Yeah, I think that's everything that's going on with the sun. So relatively mild interactions with the sun. Of course, all of those things could be intensified as Earth's magnetic protection continues to wane, as the poles shift. So pay attention to that. Yeah, currently we are in the zodiac of Gemini, as I mentioned last week. Alchemically, all of the signs represent some part of the body, right? Aries is up here. Taurus is in the back, and now we get to Gemini. It's really sort of that expansion of that energy, and how does the body communicate energy throughout itself? It uses the nerve system. These in particular are talking about the spray of lungs. And so pay attention to, I'll say breathing problems, but increased feeling and energy in the lungs. So sometimes that could be an increased respiration, which could be an exacerbation. That's a big word of what people really already deal with, which is uh, over breathing in the first place. Right. So pay attention that might, if you don't regulate your breath on a regular basis or do any kind of breath work, that could lead to some increased anxiety feelings for having too much oxygen in the upper levels of the lungs, because deeper in the lungs gives us that nice calm. And that is actually where most of the interchange of the oxygen going into the body can happen, is in the lower lungs. So pay attention to that. And of course, nerves and spinal fluid, because those also carry information down to the body. Um, I don't know how many of you are feeling the details of the spinal fluid and the electrical currents that are moving up and down your spine, but if you do, pay attention to that as well. And of course, I mentioned last week, during the zodiac, during the time when you're in the certain zodiacs, they all have their own cell salts. And during the zodiac, the cell salt that it represents or corresponds with is actually used more. And so you might have lower body content of that salt. And for the zodiac of Gemini, it is potassium chloride. Me, myself, I take bioplasma, which has all 12 cell salts. So I never have to remember which one I'm supposed to be taking or buy a whole bunch of salts. And that should take care of it. And then if this is, especially if this is your birthday, if you're an Aries, we are usually born with a depletion or a lower level than normal in our own zodiac. So we might be missing enough of that salt if you are an Aries. Excuse me, what am I talking about? Aries? A Gemini? What? I just switched signs because I was talking about Aries a while ago. Anywho, Gemini is potassium chloride. And yeah, it's sort of it's a real simple thing. It usually tastes pretty sweet. When you're having a bioplasma, it's a little dissolvable pill that goes under the tongue. So it's not that bad. It's not even that expensive. You can usually get a little over a month's supply for around $12 or something like that. Moving right in, we are currently in Pluto, a little tiny sort of planet out at the edge of the solar system, retrograde. And Pluto is really going to be about our empowerment, and that empowerment really comes from deep knowledge, right? So sometimes knowledge is power, right? And so sometimes secret knowledge is power. So this is really you're grabbing hold of your own power because you know the deep dark secrets of yourself, or you start to have this belief system when Pluto is in retrograde about what is it that is deep down inside me that actually has all this power. What's driving me? What's my soul telling me to do? All those kinds of things. Pluto is also the energy which a lot of times old wounds or deep wounds or long duration far times in the past, right? So far out planet release old wounds. So pay attention to being in Pluto retrograde till October of just sort of letting go of like, I didn't even know I was carrying that shit kind of energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be intense, especially since it's such a long retrograde. It'll probably be just baby steps, but you know, if you aren't actively working on yourself, maybe it's bigger than baby steps. Moves us right into today, Wednesday. Oh yeah, and just wanted to highlight. Oh no, I'm going to say that right now. Blah, 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 blah. Wednesday, the 28th of May, today, we're coming off super new moon. So new moon is always cleansing, extracting, new starts, because it's the new moon, not quite as cleansing as the full moon. But also, we are coming off of the move over the weekend of Saturn into Aries. And so, Saturn and Aries, Saturn is really responsible for discipline, in sort of giving you challenges to overcome, right? So, I don't say Saturn's a testing ground, but Saturn likes to test stuff, right? And so, Aries is the higher mind. So, you want to sort of pay attention to the consciousness desire to rectify stories that have to deal with the grand narrative of what's happening in this reality. Who are we? What's humanity doing? What's government doing? What's religion doing? Like all those kinds of things. Like what's that doing? And sort of rectifying like what does all that mean? Right? What's the grand narrative? What's the truth? What's my truth? All those kinds of things. It gets into a bunch of details. So if you're struggling with a crisis of WTF is going on the planet, then definitely this is the energy for you, and might be drawing you to make those decisions or sort of kind of the conclusions, or at least decisions about, hey, I'm never going to know this, but I know this about myself, right? And so this is why, if you've been in the shop before, or you paid even attention to these little star reports that I do, that the main thing you can do is make you and yourself a great spiritual receptor and information um, location to sort of discern what you are and how you can maximize your physical, mental, and spiritual self, so that no matter what is going on the planet, or whatever is being presented as going on the planet, can be dealt with because you know who you are. So therefore, when you can't be told what you are by something outside the self, because you've understood, you've discerned, you've encountered, you've overcome, then you are much less likely to be swayed by the BS or the not BS of all the things. um Today, in particular, coming off of those energies, Jupiter and the moon are aligning to really show you the higher outlook, the higher potential, right? So this is always sometimes you have a difficult teacher, and then you get the end of the movie, and the teacher's like, I just knew you could be challenged more, so I was so mean to you. So this is really sort of coming to those aha denouement moments of the end of the story, where you sort of realize that these challenges are leading you to be what you really are, and the challenges themselves are neither good nor bad, neither are necessarily the things giving them to you, but you are experiencing this reality so that you can expand and become more you. That sounds like a lot to do on a Wednesday, especially here in downtown Brenham, where it is a little rainy, it looks like. Definitely cloudy and overcast. Seems like a day to contemplate what the heck is going on in reality, especially if you're not going out into it. Leads us into tomorrow, May the 29th. The sun's going to be aligning with Mercury, or interacting with Mercury, highlighting how the soul and your personality can really be partners, right? So you want to think about this. This energy is Merkab's about communication, right? And so sometimes we're like, well, what's my soul saying? What do I want to do? And really, it sort of seems like you're two different people, or you're sort of having a pull in both directions. This is really an energy which sort of tells you how the personality that's been built by experience, by living, and all that fun stuff can sort of be in communion or contact or communication with the higher self, right? And then that can be actually more clear, right? So if systems aren't talking to each other, like if this computer is not talking to this computer, then you can't transfer data, right? So this is really a coming together of those two things, the soul and the personality, if you are of a belief system that those are different things. Yeah, that seems like a good Thursday. Looking forward to tomorrow. Moves us into Friday, May the 30th, 2025. Good day to let go of illusions and delusions for that matter. Um, and so really that's going to be with Chiron, is going to be the planet that's or small heavenly body. It's not a planet. Chiron is really going to be helping you to hear your soul's teaching, and along with that Saturn Aries thing, like that higher mind stuff, this is a good day to sort of see through things, right? So illusions of things primacy, this is the main thing that's going on in the world and I need to pay attention to it. So sometimes that might be an illusion, sometimes that might diversion, right? So this is sort of seeing through illusions or delusions, right? That nothing's happening and everything's normal and we just can't wait to get back to what normal was. That might be a little bit delusional. um Physically, this is what I do my report about. How are you going to feel during all this? When we're sort of letting go of that, maybe you get a little bit of a spiritual flu, right? This could be body aches, this could be low fevers, this could be runny nose. Sometimes this can be a sense of it's all too big to understand. I don't have the data set, right? So this is kind of like I think we experience this now mostly like if we get on slow Wi-Fi and we're like, Jesus, this is never going to download. I'm never going to understand. I'm never going to be able to put all the information together, right? And that sense of waiting really agitates us because we're used to a give me now kind of thing. And then sometimes it's as easy as switching off the Wi-Fi, right? So getting off of everybody else's, the thing that everybody else is paying attention to, and going to just cell service, right? And you can get faster downloads just by cell phone stuff. But sort of think of this as rather than being on the network, you're going into your own network, and then all of a sudden the answers are there. So pay attention to that, right? And once you sort of realize that you've been paying attention to a network that may or may not be having your best interest, and you go into your own network and you understand what you really are, then it's a little easier to sort of move forward. And so Chiron's going to help us with that. Chiron's also a nice heart energy, right? So you're going to do this from a sense of maybe of trepidation that the world isn't what you think it is, but definitely a sense of love that you're worthy of figuring it out and you're worthy of making it through. So that's good. And thanks, Chiron. Moves into Saturday, May the 31st. The moon and Neptune are express your discoveries. Okay. Yeah. So the moon and Neptune, so deep spiritual energy, spiritual power, moon, hidden at nighttime, not necessarily primal stuff. But the moon and Neptune are really going to help you express these discoveries about the self that probably come up on Friday. But definitely, you want to think, since we're moving out of May into June, right? We want to think about, hey, we're into the 6 month. We're about halfway through a year, right? All the discoveries that you sort of made about yourself, it's sort of how am I going to activate that, right? A lot of spiritual work sometimes seems passive, like, hey, I know all these things about myself. What does that mean? How do I interact with the world differently? All the things. That energy sort of comes to a head on Saturday the 31st. Moves us into June the 1st, 2025. Hey, June. Hey, June. Welcome to summertime. Chiron and Venus are working together, right? So heart and love and all that fun stuff. And a lot of the energy of the day on Sunday is going to be about soul healing and understanding. Just sort of, hey, I have a purpose. All the things in the world that might be triggering me might not be necessarily intended for my ill. And it sort of is a cycle this sort of alignment in June 1st is sort of a cycle. We're in a 9 universal year. And so you want to think we're at the end, halfway through the end of a 9 year, right? So we go 1 through 9 in universal years. And this 1 year that started this, so we're at the end of this cycle, is really bookending us with 2017, right? So just think of uh, even here in the United States, just 2017 till now, all of the things that you believed about the world, all the things that you were taught in your spiritual life, all the things you were taught in your schooling life, all the things you knew about relationships, all the things that you trusted. How's that shifted since 2017? And how have you grown, right? At the very least, if it's been monumental change, but you're still here, then you're here for a purpose. So think about that. Monday, June the 2nd, 2025. The moon and Jupiter are going to help you either fortify if you already have inner habits of just sort of thought processes, mantras, prayers, energy work, breathing techniques, all those kinds of inner things. The moon and Jupiter, so power inward, right? Moon inward, Jupiter power, is going to really help you build inner habits for this continued growth, right? So you may do from 2017 to now, like what habits could you add in, or what habits could you strengthen? What ones were most effective to sort of move you through the transition of your mental clarity, your sense of trust, your sense of belonging, all that kind of stuff. What kind of inner habits can you build? Sounds like good Monday, right? Let's just case of the Mondays. Leads us into Tuesday, the last day of the report for this week, Tuesday, June the 3rd, 2025. Mars is really going to, I don't want to say triggering you, but Mars is really sort of an active energy, right? And so this is going to be encouragement to actually speak, right? And so sometimes speaking is action, but this is sort of act on the things that you've discovered about yourself, put plans into motion, do what you want to do what you're moved to do. Oh yeah. And so yeah, so sometimes people think that Mars is sort of an anger and Venus is sort of a love, but Mars is really just sort of now's the time, right? So if you're not motivated, Mars is a motivator. And the thing to sort of be cautious about, or just aware of, that these truths and these things that you might be discovering about you and yourself, they might be just for you and yourself. And so this expression is really sort of moved back into the therapeutic, right? Where you make I statements, where you've made these discoveries about how you function in the world, what you understand about your reality. Right. And so the tendency is, since you've discovered it, it feels like it's been hidden, and it feels like it came from somewhere supernatural, which soul level stuff feels like that, that you might be like, this is a universal truth and everybody needs to do that, which is how you see on a lot of channels and videos and stuff like that. It might be just for you, right? And so not necessarily communicating or acting, starting a movement is not necessarily Tuesday, but definitely acting on the habits that you've built for yourself so you can continue to grow and discover more, right? Who you are, how you fit in, what reality is, and then what level of interaction do you need to be participating in to sort of do that. Yeah, that sounds like a fun day. Can't wait till Tuesday where I can tell everybody what I think. Oh wait, I do that every week here. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's always great talking to you about stuff and things. Should be in the shop all week. I don't see any reason to not be in the shop, but then again, you know how that goes. Sometimes things come up and you need to be other places. But yeah, here 11 to 5 usually, Wednesday through Saturday. If you're checking on the websites and the whatever, it does say I'm open Monday and Tuesday. That is for appointments only. If you come to the physical location, you see appointments only. That sort of is for y'all to book online at newdimensionscrystals.com if you need a session of sorts to have me assist you in moving your energy or aligning your energy in helpful ways. Also, breath work, and of course, tarot card readings are usually walk-ins. So if I'm here Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 5, you can come in and we can sort of fit you in between. It's not like it's super busy during the summer times in downtown Brenham, Texas. And so we can usually fit you in between other retail customers. and just sort of take our little 15 minutes and figure some things out that way too. Okay, I think I've been rambling long enough. The little clock says 20 minutes. It's one of my longer ones. I think I just delivering information. I don't think I rambled that much. But until next week, everybody, I'm going to find the stop button. Wishing you many blessings. Oh, button went away. Many blessings.